Hi, everyone. My name is David Fresquez, and this is our first Santa Fe Gloom podcast. We've got Kaue from Brusa FC in the Phoenix area joining us. Kaue, thanks for taking the time. How you doing today?
No, thank you for having me and look forward to seeing you guys, shortly here. Everything's good. A little bit tired of training, but excited about the game to come.
That's great. Kaue, explain to us just your passion and your first memories of playing futsal and playing soccer in general. Tell us that story.
Yeah, no, good question. So I'm born and raised in Brazil, São Paulo, Brazil. And obviously, it's not just a sport, it's a way of life over there. It's just normal, so you don't even think about it. You got grandma and grandpa's playing everywhere, football over TV, futsal as well. So it all starts that from pretty much from birth. You're already kicking the ball. In my family, we have at least one to three professionals every generation. So I was born into that. There's a little bit of pressure to go, but I don't like a lot of people say it's pressure, but pressure for us in Brazil is, if you if you don't have a lot of income, it'll be what am I going to feed my family at night? What are those are real pressures. Playing and stuff like that. It's just normal. It's like having fun. So that's for me, that's how I started. First memory of playing would be when I decided to actually want to play. Was looking for a team. You play in the streets all the time. You play in the school. You make balls out of uh, you know tape. You
Mhm.
make balls out of anything, and you just play. So constantly playing in the school, and when I wanted to take a little bit more, so okay, I'm getting good. Let's look for more. I remember my cousin, training me in my grandma's backyard. I remember, playing constantly in the street before and after school. Yeah, and from there things got serious.
That's great. And when you started, were you playing you mentioned you played on the street, so it was essentially futsal?
Yeah, yeah, it's in the street, but it's not like futsal for futsal. It's a little
Mhm,
bit different. There's rules stuff like that, but it's normal, especially in the early '90s.
mhm.
I'm 1991, so I'm getting a little bit old, but Um, it's just normal, nowadays with big buildings and a bunch of other stuff there and, crazy people, that's not as common.
Mhm.
But, if you are in a smaller neighborhood, a smaller city, those things usually, still do happen. People meet up to play and everyone plays. That's the cool part. Something happens on the game yesterday and everyone's talking about it. They're texting about it. It's all over TV. It's, I don't know, it's a culture, that's what I can say. It's everywhere. You can't run away from it.
That's right. And fast forward to, your journey with Brusa FC and your ownership there in the Phoenix area. Walk us through how you got started there, because 'cause it's been a huge success. So, walk us through your journey.
Yeah, good question. So, I to backtrack a couple steps, I became a professional player on the field, and then after a few injuries, promising start stuff like that, I came back here to Arizona, and one of my ex coaches here was starting a team. Was starting, working for a club at the time. I think they're called Ralph Phoenix. And that's how I got brought in, to Futs on the US. And that's kind of like how the journey started. As for for Brusa, in one of those journeys between injuries, and I was coming back here to Arizona where I have some family. My uncle is here. My immediate family as well are here, and I started a soccer club with my uncle Marcos.
Mhm.
Called Brazos
Okay.
at the time, and um, I started kind of like that. I was playing, but I was still able, to coach in between a little bit. And I bought the franchise from the owner at Real Phoenix. They used to play a major league futsal at a time.
Mhm.
That was a really cool idea. It wasn't it could have been managed a little bit better, but anyhow, that's kind of like how it started. It started as a Brazos. We had youths. We had and still do with soccer side. It was all field and it was supposed to be an extension, the next phase of the project, but it got so big that we separated. Changed the name and started focusing only in futsal on this side and soccer. The soccer side still exists, but it's two complete entities. There isn't any, I guess, relation to that. That's how our youth, solely focused on futsal, was able to flourish. We have kids nowadays, I don't know, 10, 11 different soccer clubs around here that play futsal strictly for us. Um, anyways, it's a big summary of a lot of stuff.
Sure. How long did it take you? What year are you at right now?
I think around year 8 or 9, something like that.
That's great. Congratulations. I mean, that's
Thank
a
you.
huge success to keep it going all these years. What do you think is the difference between like when you first started the club at year 1 into year 8? Like, what's the biggest difference that you see when you're waking up in the morning and saying, "Oh, finally we're on year 8," compared to like saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm on year 1."
Yeah, I think now, like you can say, it's a professional club, it's a professional team. In the beginning, especially the year 1 and 2 of the adults, it wasn't professional. Guys didn't get paid. We
Mhm.
trained, a couple times a week, and that's what it was.
Mhm.
After as they expanded, we're able to start branching out and having the youth. I think the youth system here only has 2 years. It's about to complete 2 years, so
Okay.
it's really young as well. So we focus mainly on the adult side and focus on the youth on the soccer side. So when the demand started becoming bigger and bigger, that's when was that big split. But the main difference is that now we have the right personnel, we have procedures, and we're putting people in the right people in the right places to be able to maintain our processes and always looking to improve
Mhm.
those processes, taking, we invest in our professionals as well. We pay, for them to get licenses and education, to see what's going on in Brazil and Europe and bring the latest trends over here. Not only with like, players that we bring, but, education from, the different federations out there to, maximize the output that we're trying to do.
Right. And you mentioned the youth club. So are those kids walking into your program saying, "I wanna be a pro futsal player?"
Some do. So I have a 2009 and 10 group that has been my soccer team for a little bit. And now that things are getting a little bit more serious, they're getting into high school. We have, I can say, 7 to 8 of the 20 some players that we have, do want to be professional players. The first graduating class that we have from our youth academy to pros is the 2004 2005 class. Three, no, four of them graduated. One of them being a 2002. They used to be our players, left, went to college, and then tried to come back.
Yep.
But only one left. Standing out. It's Micah. Uh,
Yeah.
he's been my player for a very long time, and when I played in Europe there in Brazil, I took him over there, so he has international experience, has a lot of experience for a little guy.
Mhm.
Obviously, he's just a kid. Being born in 2004 is crazy to think, but he's the most promising. I've been getting called up for the U.S. national team for a little bit, and before the coaching change, he was on the list to be seen, to get called up. They went to nationals to watch one of his games as well this
Mhm.
past year,
Mhm.
last season, and so I would say he's the example. A kid that is here local. Be able to be able to get those big stages. He played against Barcelona last year in the
It's
on the club.
amazing.
Yeah, it's we're trying to provide more opportunities. It doesn't mean it's going to happen with a lot of players, but the clear pathway from rec to academy, which is our competitive program, and then the professional team. It's clearly there. We even have a reserves team that we're trying to start the integration between those players that are reaching that age, and especially
Mhm.
the level to be able to start going, maybe this is for me, this is what I want, or maybe I just want to use this to make me better for soccer and go to college. we're
Mhm.
we're here to help, to facilitate on the pro side and on the youth side.
That reserve team, who you targeting? You may have just kinda mentioned it there, like potential college soccer players. But talk us through a little bit more of that reserve team because I'm not sure. Does Colorado Futsal Academy have a reserve team? I know the Gloom doesn't yet,
Mhm.
but I think that's you guys are real unique in having that reserve team.
Yeah, so from talking to Otis, I know they tried maybe last year. I'm not sure they still have it. I'm not quite sure, but the reserves are more like guys that play under UPSL, that type of level, college
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you put them playing against our pro team, there's a huge difference. Huge difference. So at the end of the day, UPSL is not a pro league, but there's a lot of those guys that think they're professional, think they're very good players until you compare, with their professionals. It's like, wow, I thought I was here, but in reality, when you compare it to the world, I really am here, and they become a little bit more humble. And our
It
goal is to, again, develop into the first team. Get paid. Our guys get paid, I guess, a decent salary. It would rival, some of USL team here, Phoenix Rising. Some
Yeah,
of the salaries that we have, not
that's
on
great.
the 3 to 4,000 a month range, but just below that. I know here in Arizona is between maybe $800 to $2,200 a month, and some of our guys are getting that. Once they first come up from the youth team, they don't get that, but that's something that they have an opportunity to grow into for sure.
That's great. So did you get a pay raise when you were player of the week a couple weeks ago?
No, not yet. I got to talk to my agent to talk.
Yeah, so talk us through that too. Just this season, right? You guys had your first game against us, right? Santa Fe Gloom. So talk us through just kind of your prepping for that first game, what your expectations were, what you guys were kind of thinking about Santa Fe Gloom. That at the time we were, I believe, 2-0, right? A new coming team. So kind of talk us through kind of your strategy and previewing this next game against us in a
Mhm.
couple of days. So what are your thoughts, kind of just leading into this next game?
Okay. Oh, preparation wise, we start a preseason gym only around October. Obviously, not the international guys are here, but the local
Mhm,
ones are. We had tryouts, so preparation wise, we've been preparing for quite a bit. Not knowing who we were going to play before the league schedule come out.
mhm,
As we approach, league and announcing this team and that team and who's going to play who and where, we started getting more excited. A couple of the international guys arrived, which have completed, the team as a whole. Um, Everyone gets together here and watch the games together as much as possible. We have like get-togethers, here at my place usually to watch. So everyone's been watching and everyone's excited to play you guys, especially after you've seen the your first two games there.
mhm.
As far as practice, the guys train here every day, so everyone's super excited. Day in, day out. Most of the days are early in the morning, so watching good teams and being able to host people is definitely a daily motivator. And helps us keep the discipline. We have a good group of guys who are hold each other accountable and the preparation when everyone has there's a high level of holding accountability. If someone's
Mhm.
slacking, it's like, come on,
That's right.
not just one from one person, which is awesome. So preparation's been super good. Obviously, it's not where we want it to be at. As we've been practicing with the ball maybe a month, maybe.
Mhm, mhm,
So there's just still a lot to improve, but we're excited with how much the guys are improving. The league's showing up to it's going to be super competitive. It looked like it was going to be like a couple runaways in the first games, but everyone's beating everyone, which is just makes it more interesting, more challenging. We're super excited for that. As for the first game, we're just looking to do what we practice, really, and make our home like a tough place to come. When people come over here, it's like, oh man, we got to go there. I think we had closer to 1,200 people at our game.
mhm.
I think the atmosphere was super fun to play in. There's a lot of noise and stuff like that, so people were have our youth academy there. So um, preparation wise, I think is that looking forward to. We're trying to do it again, bring more people. There's a couple soccer tournaments going on that time.
Okay, yeah.
It,
Mhm.
could have gotten maybe another 100 or so there. But anyways, it was a fun game to be in. I think the atmosphere was super good. You guys put up a tough game. For us, we for sure had to adapt and come up with solutions that we didn't expect. So yeah, I think overall as a team it was good. For me individually, as my first game after being out 9 months with the ACL and meniscus injury. So I was super excited about as well. Been training for a long time, over way more. I don't know, like I haven't played in 9 months since that first game there. So you have that that energy, that
That's
thirst,
right.
to, go
Right.
out there. Yeah, no, we're excited to continue the season. We're excited to play you guys, to go to you guys, and be able to see everybody else. I think our side is very very competitive. I think there's no, I guess, like I think everyone's pretty similar, and in a given day, anything could happen.
That's right. So I was looking at some of your Instagram posts and I saw you guys were going through like not weightlifting, but like weight training, right? So I think that's probably a little unusual to some extent. And you guys got strong guys. So kind of walk us through that as well, like just that preparation and just that mental toughness that you have. Because I know the Gloom were not necessarily doing that, right? So I mean, talk us through that too. Like I thought that was just real impressive. And, when you guys are, I think, taller and bigger than most of the players as well. So I think that gives you guys an advantage. So just kind of talk us through that prep, especially when you guys are doing a lot of that agility work.
Yeah, so the strength and conditioning part started in October. We have, planification for throughout the season, peaks and goes, because obviously you cannot be 100% the whole season. That's not
That's right.
how it works,
Yep.
unfortunately. But yeah, so we're following our planification. We have weight training or once a week, usually on Mondays. We have either or preparation. So if we're coming back from, we have recovery, on a Monday.
Hmm.
Usually Wednesdays we have, speed and agility. So to take care of the athlete side of things, we have or her Nerden, which are part of our permanent staff.
Hmm.
They're super good at what they do. You
That's
know,
great.
both of them have like masters on that sort of stuff, and they went to. I guess people want to geek out about this sort of stuff. They graduated from the same university as the head coach, strength and conditioning from Man United, so they're super super knowledgeable about it, and they're great guys too. They do police training, SWAT training, so they're not only focused into futsal, but they've seen athletes from a bunch of different um, sports and levels, which makes them I guess unique and be able to adapt, both for the first team, for the professional team, and for the reserves. So on our daily basis here, we got Monday through Friday we have training. um, Sometimes the guys have some homework to do that they send that we have to do twice a week to
Yep. That's great.
fix imbalances or prevent injuries, because obviously it's a long season for us. We start in October and in August with our tournament, so it's a long season for us. We play the league, then we have
Mhm.
a couple other tournaments, nationals and stuff like that. So um, yeah, they do a great job at doing that. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a hard time for sure.
That's right. So it definitely shows, right, on the court. Because when we played, remind me of the score. Was it like 8-4, something like that? 10-4?
Better with numbers and dates, man. I always forget them, so I'm not good.
Yeah. I know you definitely crushed us, right? But as you kind of alluded to as well, is like the game can go back and forth so quickly. Like
Mhm,
we had our runs, you guys had your runs. Without revealing too much of a strategy, right? Obviously. Um, what my takeaway from that game was you guys were doing your kick-ins, right? And I noticed you guys have plays, right? And when we talked to Colorado and Albuquerque, they're like, yeah, Bruce is gonna be doing this, that, and the other. So kinda get we wanna get into your head on how you're doing those kick-ins and those types of things, obviously, with not revealing strategy, but that was the takeaway that we came back from saying, "Hey, these guys are, like, pros at it, and you scored off a kick-in," right? And I think off a corner as well. So, I'm sure you guys practiced that.
yeah, for sure. I mean, with any professional team, there's a level of strategy. We have so many different plays. From kick cans, from close, from far, playing out of pressure, corner kicks. So depending on how the other team is defending or position, we choose a different set of plays. So we have anywhere from you know it can be up to 6 to 7, and every single one of them have variations. So, I remember they did this, then, it's okay. Like we have to, can do the other side. So at the end of the day, it's about being organized and be able to explore where your opposing team is giving you. So if they give it the left, go to the left. Give it the right, go to the right. So it's supposed to be evenly, um, distribute, so you to take advantage of those spaces. Because at the end of the day, if you move to the right, leave space on the left, and vice versa. So it's a damn if you do and damn if you don't type of situation, and that's what we I mean, that's kind of, I guess, normal if you, played, abroad in Brazil, or, we're just trying to bring it here and be well organized. Obviously, it's a lot of things that the player needs to remember, but at
Mhm.
the end of the day, they're professionals, they're committed, we're there every day. It makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Put it there.
No, that's right. I mean, you saw me on the sideline, I was just like, "What the heck?" Like, because when you guys were walking up to the ball, you were, like, taking your time, right? And you guys were facilitating that play.
Mhm,
And that frustrated our Gloom players, and you guys scored a few goals. So we definitely took those takeaways, and we're saying, yeah, like this is what we need to now defend, and we need to strategize a little bit more moving forward into Saturday's game.
mhm.
So I hope you guys don't score off a kick in this time around. I'll do like a shot on goal or whatever, but um, just it was a great learning lesson for all of us. So um, talk us through like the legacy that you wanna have for your club, right? Like youth, having a player play at the US level? Like, what are some of those legacies that you guys can see are now coming through the Brusa FC?
That's a good question. I mean, I think I would say our long-term goal is for sure to be known as a powerhouse in the US and North America. Um, Obviously, that's a long-term goal, and it takes a lot of, a lot of work and, to be able to get that, both with the youth and the pros. We had some very good runs in the past with the pros, especially when we had a lot of Brazilians. We had, I think, a 3 or 4 years where we won a lot of stuff here in the Southwest.
And you won last year, right? You were the champions of the Southwest last year?
Correct.
Yep.
So, last year was the first, well, I think it was year 2 of a rebuild that
Mhm.
we've been doing. As like when you're trying to find a wife, you go through a lot of bad ones until you find good ones, and you keep.
Amen. Yeah.
So, that's where we're at right now, still rebuilding, finding the right players and the right people, because it's not about just being a good player. There's players that offer them to come play for us for free from all over the world, but we do, a little bit deeper scouting, and sometimes someone looks like it'll be a good fit, but it just isn't a good fit, both on, everything else, because everyone's super involved in everything on the youth. It's like everything comes full circle. One's attached to the other and to the other. For better or for worse, we have to create, the demand. We have to create that environment, because at the end of the day, we're in the U.S., where futsal, people still don't know what futsal is, or people are fairly new to it. When
Yeah.
if you go anywhere in the world, it's huge.
That's right. Yeah, especially in Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what do you think the legacy of futsal is gonna be in the next 5 to 10 years, being that we've got the World Cup coming, right? That's obviously outdoor. Do you think that futsal, in the Santa Fe Gloom and Brusa and the league in general will pick up some steam because of the World Cup and just more exposure being in North America?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. So, it will depend on, you know, I think the clubs, the league, because sometimes the clubs think they're enemies. We've seen that before. I think we've been super outspoken and being able to help, because when you grow, we all grow and everyone grows.
That's
But
right.
when people turn those field rivalries into, like, death threats or whatever, like, it's very
Yeah.
narrow sighted. You know what I mean? And for the clubs to be successful, the league has to be sustainable, and it has to be a business. And that's what we try to do here. And like I said, we try to, like, help each other out so we can grow. And there's a huge opportunity for all the teams and the league can come together, for the World Cup, and all these things are coming up. We have a huge advantage, take a few steps up the ladder, and maybe a few more, with this, with everything being here. Futsal is not a big secret. I mean, it's a secret here in the US,
Yeah.
but around the world, it's not. You can use it, as a sport. You can use it to accelerate individual development if you have the correct methodology and application of this. Those ideologies and those methods. So I believe that will be a good opportunity, and hopefully, every club is going to be able to jump on that stuff, and in the league as well. I know there's other small leagues trying to pop up, but for sure, the league that we're in right now is the best, without a shadow of a doubt. There, yeah.
And why do you think that is? I agree.
Uh-huh.
What do you think that our league stands out from others? What do you think that's the case?
Yeah, I
Why is
think.
that the
I
case?
mean, they've been in league for longer. Like, we used to be part of an American futsal league. And before we made that jump, there were some things that we weren't super, fan about, and think it was, like, super well oil ironed out. But
Mhm.
as I talked to Drew's
Mhm.
is a friend of mine that we met in the the national team training camp, actually, for the US national team. And
Yeah.
there we kept, talking, exchanging ideas, and I always try to give him some feedback, and vice versa. We try to learn and help each other out as much as possible, as well as with the league. And they kept improving, and we saw the time. Okay, let's make the jump in unifying things. Just like it was done in Brazil and Japan before. Way back when there's 2, 3 leagues and they all merged, and there's a big boom. So I think we're right around that
Mhm.
same
Mhm.
same where we had a couple leagues coming, joining. There's smaller leagues that are, in and about. They're very, very affordable, but at the end of the day, I think that's a different segment for the market,
Mhm.
where, they're happier being, like, like a Sunday league team,
That's
or
right.
they want to say profession, but it really, isn't there, where they don't have the organization, or, they don't have everything else that needs to happen for that. So, summarizing a lot of stuff, I think their processes are much smoother. They
Mhm.
have the idea and the personnel in place. It seems like, at least for now, to be able to provide a better product. And now we have playoffs, or the best from each side of the country see each other.
Mhm.
This year they're coming out with the Cup US Futsal Open Cup, which will be super huge.
Mhm.
There'll be a money prize in there between, I don't know, 20, 30,000, something like that. Which is super important, because at the end of the day, there's got to be some money as well from the league, but the league has to generate to be able to give back, and vice versa. So
That's right.
that's my long, long
Yeah.
opinion.
Any other cities you think that can join? I think we're in the Southwest Division, right? So it's obviously you all in the Phoenix area. We got Colorado FC in the Aurora, Denver area, Albuquerque, and then Santa Fe. Do you know of any other cities that may want to join us in the Southwest Division?
Yeah, I think California had a team for a couple of years there with different owners, and they have a lot of youth futsal there. So I'm
Mhm.
surprised there hasn't been people coming together and
Mhm.
understanding. That's for you to keep your older players, stuff like that. You need to have a pathway. You cannot just get the little ones. They do all this stuff, and then what? Why would you continue playing futsal if you don't have a clear pathway for more?
That's right.
People invest in UPSL. Like, I know people love it, but it's for me, it's a waste of time, to be honest. Like, you're not going to be like some, maybe 1 or 2%, become professional players or go somewhere else. But it's more like a high school, or like college players who don't have anything better to do. Instead of playing
Mhm.
men's league, they play you know,
Mhm.
this one that's a little bit more organized. Sometimes players already have contracts where they're playing for example, I belong to RSL, and RSL has like a kids team, and so they play a little bit, around there. It's more affordable. I know there's a lot more teams playing, but in my opinion, if a lot of those teams invested more into futsal, they would get better quality players, and then would feed the soccer teams. They want to use it as a tool, and just make the US players better, and make the field teams better, the higher level teams, and it'll give people a better pathway to maybe get into the US national team. When are you going to play with players that were it's on that realm of level of soccer is not really possible, to think, "Oh, I'm gonna play in the UPSL and then play in the World Cup." That's like 1 in a million, I if that, so we have to be real, but anyways, that's
Yes, you're essentially saying that futsal's more accessible, right? That you can step onto a Brusa FC or a Santa Fe Gloom and potentially make it to that national level,
yeah,
essentially, right? There's a clearer path to
for sure. They're for
right.
sure watching, go to nationals, for example, last year nationals. Obviously, it's a little bit easier because I was getting called up, so I already know me and whatever.
Yeah.
But they came and watch, our players play. The staff the new staff that was in place. So, and the other guys, Dusan and Pablo had, for sure, with Dusan, I had conversation with them. Oh, who do you have over there? How's the level? So instead of like, I feel like the UPSL route is more like a hamster wheel. You're just kind of running through the motions, and
Yeah.
you're kind of racing, looking to your neighbor, but everyone's not really leaving the place. Versus futsal, like, if you have great seasons, you could get picked up by a bigger team. You could go abroad to play. It's much more. It gives you a lot more if you have good seasons, are in shape. I never expected to play in the Brazilian national team, but it happened. And that's obviously a dream come
That's
true.
right. That's right.
I don't think I would be able to do that on the soccer side of things, because you're playing against some of the best in the
Yeah.
world. And not
Yeah.
even sometimes very good players don't get picked. So, long story short, it's
Yeah.
more accessible. It gives you more opportunities, and it makes you better. Anything, worst come to worst, to become a more well-rounded player.
That's right. No, that's great. Great answers, man. We're super pumped to play you guys on Saturday. So it's at the Broadway Rec Center in Mesa, Arizona, correct? Six
Yeah.
o'clock is the kickoff. Remind me of who your reserve team's going to play.
I think the Tigers or something like that. It's
Okay,
more like local teams to try to get involved, get in the game day.
exposure.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, and just a plug from the Santa Fe Gloom. Would like to thank Mercedes-Benz of Santa Fe, Mark Martinez. Thank you so much for helping sponsor the Santa Fe Gloom and our team. The City of Santa Fe Economic Development. Thank you, City of Santa Fe. And then also Mike at Dos Santa Fe. Had breakfast there this morning with my parents. So thanks. Always the best green chili breakfast burritos. So, Cowie, thanks, man. We're so eager to play you guys. Anything else you want to mention to our audience or to us, or just thank you so much for being such a great role model to the community and having Brusa FC kick everyone's butt this last year and kick our butt this that's first game, but it'll definitely be different Saturday.
Awesome. No, thank you guys so much for for joining the league. Take this big step. I know that you came from the indoor world, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we started off as a major arena soccer league team, MASL, so an M2. We weren't able to launch like we thought we would, but now we've pivoted to futsal, and I've fallen in love with futsal. That's not to say that the arena soccer, the M2, isn't in our plans,
Yeah.
right? We're just going to see how life unfolds for us and see where we go and build that momentum. But, when I reached out to Ducks and I did research on you all in Colorado and Albuquerque, I was like, "This is it. Let's start here. Let's get well connected and let's start playing." So thank you
Awesome.
guys for, landing our plane real smooth into another direction for us in Santa Fe.
No, we appreciate it. Takes a village, as Americans saying, right, to make everything work. So,
That's
like I
right.
said, if you need anything from us, and we can help on anything, or camps or whatever it is, on the adult or the youth, we're here. And for all the club owners start working and help each other out, I think it'll be better for everyone.
That's right. I agree. Thanks, man. We'll see you Saturday, 6 o'clock. It'll be aired, I think, on the Futsal Premier League channel, I
Yeah,
believe.
on YouTube, it's always in there.
Yeah, we'll put our links and our Instagram, Facebook links there. It'll be a live stream starting at 6. So it'll be Santa Fe Gloom versus Brusa FC. So we're pumped. We're excited. We're leaving tomorrow. So we'll keep in touch. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. And then maybe Sunday or Monday, we'll do a recap video.
For sure.
So
Awesome, man.
thanks. Appreciate it. We'll have you back on. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.